special guest for the special guest. Let's go. Hold on, here she comes.
Consider me a big shot. What up to Steve? Mimi and Scrap, yo. I'm on my love and hip hop. Yes, so solid, it flows through my body. And if you got it, love, I'm told that's what God is. I'm Tyrone Wiggins. Whenever love is given to me, pragmatic. I'm just an addict for your love. I gotta have it. My problems disappear when love's connected. I never wanna take back an hour, minute, or second. What a blessing. Love ain't proud.
I could not
love is
change
so
someone
patient, kind, it doesn't
like I tried to do in my first
friend,
marriage.
love your enemies,
Nor
this love sink in, got love
try to
for
be
my
something
neighbor,
that I
agape
absolutely
phileo.
was
Let me
not.
be more convincing. Maybe you can dive in and exegete or censor, dissect the scripture where Bishop we show love. Or if you a sinner, transgender like Bruce Jenner, well, Caitlyn, we show more love. Basic
Well, I'm sure all of them, but I only deal with men, so I don't know
take one love, then add or multiply it. Don't wanna swear by it.
like I said,
I promise if you don't have love, your life will be full of the
definitely have
opposite. And that's a big
have
mistake.
your
You trying to
concerns.
demonstrate all love, instinct like Justin Timberlake. And that's a big
But
mistake.
I'm
You
definitely
trying to
not-
demonstrate
I mean,
all love,
That is so
instinct
true.
will
Yeah,
be
they have
full
to
of the
forgive the other
opposite.
person,
And
and
that's
then
a
they,
big
first
mistake.
of all, they gotta
You trying
forgive
to
themselves
demonstrate
first
all love,
before they can
instinct
go and
like
forgive the
Justin
other person.
Timberlake. And that's a
Because
big
it starts
mistake.
with you.
You
Everything
trying
we
to
do,
demonstrate all
whether it's love or
instinct
whatever,
like
it starts with us
Justin
first. We gotta
Timberlake.
love ourselves first before we can show love towards other people. You know, and we gotta forgive ourselves before we can show forgiveness towards others. And also, you have to receive forgiveness from God. So many people, they have not forgiven themselves, nor have they received the forgiveness of God because they still hold themselves captive, you know, and they crucify themselves for whatever they've done in the past.
All right. What's going on out there, social media fam? This is Brother Darrell McGriff with Love Sync Ministries, and this is Love Sessions. And you know what we say here? Our foundational scripture is 1 John 4:8. He that loveth not knoweth not God. And why is that? Because God is love. So if you're listening in on or watching, act like I'm still on the radio, but if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the little love button, and also make sure you comment and also share the video. If you're on the YouTube side, do all that same stuff, but make sure that you do subscribe to the channel so you get the notifications that we're coming on. So hit that notification button. Also, when you subscribe on YouTube, if you want to win money when the money is being given away or any other type of prizes, make sure that you put it on public so I can see your name, find you, so we can take care of you when you do win. So make sure you do that. So let's get ready to get this party started. I'm waiting on 2 more people to show up. We did our test today. Everybody was good. And so I'm waiting on the other 2. But in the meantime, between time, I don't like to waste time, and because your time is valuable. If you jumped on right on time like you're supposed to, then I appreciate it. So right now, a young man is going to be stepping in. Let's put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Pastor Seth Connican. Connican is coming on in, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. How you doing there, my brother?
I am doing quite well, sir. How are you this wonderful day?
Man, I'm alive. And anytime I'm alive, it's a great day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So I guess I know Brother Kendrick, he was coming from Louisiana visiting his family. And I told him, hey, man, if you can't make it home, he was in terror when I last talked to him. I said, hey, man, well, pull over, hit a parking lot and jump on with me. And Brother Jazz, I mean, he was right after you when he came on and said, hey, I want to do this, and now nobody's here but you. So I appreciate you for that. But hey, one monkey don't stop no show, as they always said in the old days. So first thing I like to do to get the party started is answer quick questions just to loosen everything up and get us going. So first things first, first question is, where were you born, sir?
In the great state of Arkansas, Little Rock, Benton area.
Oh, not the Little Rock, Benton area. Okay. All right. And then what's your favorite food and drink?
I don't know that I have a favorite food or drink, but I can tell you I always enjoy the wonderful H2O water with a good pH level. And I can also say I always enjoy salmon.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I got Brother Kendrick coming in. Okay, he's getting ready to pop on. All right, brother, what's going on, man?
Man, it's been one of them days though. How y'all brothers doing, man? How y'all brothers doing?
Everything's good. That's
Good,
Brother
bro.
Seth. That's Brother Seth. Brother Seth is Brother Kendrick right there. All right.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
So
All right.
how far in did you get from Louisiana? Where you at?
Oh man, I'm over here. I just got over here about my storage and stuff. I had to go to my storage. From there, I had to go to a funeral to take care of my mom. Man, it's just been a real hectic day for me.
Oh, okay. Well, here go Brother Jazz. All right, Brother Jazz is coming about now. Everybody's on. All right, there he is. Brother Jazz, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Okay, so
We doing well, brother.
right
All
above
right,
you
brother.
is Brother Seth with the peace sign, and next to you with the hat on is Brother Kendrick. So that's
Okay.
Brother right there.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
All right. So
Nice to meet you.
we hadn't got into the meat and potatoes of things yet, but real quick, I always do my 5 questions. So Brother Seth is 2 questions in, so I'm going to ask y'all real quick. So Kendrick, you can start it off. Where were you born, sir?
Oh, born in 1973, sir.
Where?
Oh, in Dallas, Texas.
All right. And Jazz, where are you born?
I was born in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, all right. And then okay, Kendrick, and then what's your favorite food or drink?
Oh Lord. I would just say soul food. Put it like that. Just put soul food.
All right, I got
Drink, is the cherry Coke.
it. Okay. All right. And Jazz?
Seafood, cherry coke mixed with rum.
Okay. All right. So now we got everybody again. So Brother Seth, what's your favorite TV show?
I don't know if I have one, but I do enjoy watching the negotiations and the art of Shark Tank.
Oh, okay. And Kendrick, what's your favorite TV show?
Oh man, you know what? Believe it or not, man, I'm into the mysteries and stuff like that. It's something like stuff like what Tyler Perry do, the stuff like that. I like the plays and stuff like that, the comedy and it's always a meaning behind most of the stuff that Tyler Perry do. There is a meaning behind it, so I like stuff like that.
All right. And Jazz, I need you to lift your camera up because all we see is from your nose up. There you up, just a little bit.
All right.
Right there. There you go. I know you got to pump some iron to keep that arm strong and steady for the camera. But what's your favorite TV show?
You silly. My favorite TV show is whatever I'm binge watching at the time. So right now, my favorite TV show is Lovecraft Country on HBO.
Okay.
I think Janelle Smollett,
Right.
her brother, was the one that lied on Empire.
Right. Exactly. All right. And so now, last but not what got 2 more. So Brother Seth, what's your favorite hobby or pastime?
Man, this is a good question. Pastime, hobby. Well, let me say what hobby that I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn how to play tennis.
All right. That's definitely a workout. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And you got to get that forearm strong, cause boy, and that backhand game, woo, that ain't no joke. All right. So Kendrick, what's your favorite hobby or pastime?
Oh man, I like to watch high school kids play basketball and football. I get great enjoyment to see high school kids because that's just the grind of them, the hustle in them trying to get to college and stuff like that. So I love to go see high school and high school football and basketball and track. Go watch it and watch it play, watch it get entertained.
All right, I got you. What about you, Jazz?
I love Top Golf. If I can get in there without all the social distancing and things that's going on right now, but I just love that place.
Okay, cool. All right, gentlemen, the last question, and this is what's gonna make it right here. Some of y'all might get cut off this broadcast right now. Who's your favorite sports team? Seth?
Dallas Cowboys. It's all way day long. It's Dallas Cowboys.
All right, Kendrick.
Man, I'm a Cowboy fan for life, baby.
And Jazz?
Cowboys fan. Who else?
All right, we gonna make it. This gonna be a show then. That's what I'm talking about. All right, gentlemen. My first question that I like to start out with, because this is love session, aka God sessions. So we got to know about their walk. So what I ask everybody is, when did you first get saved? But when did you first start taking the word serious? Brother Seth?
I guess I'm the guinea pig on all questions. I'm the first one tonight. Every question is me first. In a revival when I was 13 years old in Benton, Arkansas, a lot of the teenagers were there, and of course it was a packed house, and we were all there, and I just was inspired by the message that night, and I asked the Lord into my heart that night, and I received him in my heart that night. And then I think I had to be probably 18 when I really grabbed hold to the truth and the substance of the word.
All right, and you kept it?
Wow. I was around. I was always around the Word of God. I was always around church because of my grandma. I was raised by my grandma, and my grandma had me at church 7 days, almost 8 days a week. So I was at church for Bible study, deacon board. I was with all that. I'm a young buck in there, but I'm still in there, you know. So but I truly have a relationship with God. It has to be in my 20s. And it was kind of from a tragic situation. What happened was I found my aunt dead in the next room, and she died while I was in the one room, she was in another room. I don't think she was snoring real loud, but I would find out that she was trying to grasp for her. And what happened was that right there really kind of shook me, and when it shook me, it made me, because to keep 100 with y'all, I made her my God. And when I made her my God, God don't like that. God wants you to worship only him. And so what I did is, because everything I needed from her. And when she died, that really shook my foundation. It made me realize to go to God more, go to him instead of going to anybody else. And so that's when my development started, right then and there. It was in my early 20s.
Okay. All right, Jazz?
The first time was 7 years old. I had a similar experience going to church with grandparents. We grew up Baptist. So we used to have, when you got saved, you went up to the front of the church with the chairs with the deacons. And you sit on the front row until you got baptized on the first Sunday the following month. And I just wanted to go in the water, so I held my hand up and got saved. But I didn't start taking the word seriously, I want to say, until like about 25 or 26 years old, a little bit after when my son was born, when things just started to click. Beforehand, it was just most of you go to church, you just go with the motions and things like that. But at that age, right after my son's mom and I broke up, I started taking a Bible in a year class. So that was actually my first time being introduced to the different chapters in the Bible, the background, where it comes from, and study Himalayas and Greek, Hebrew text, and all the other stuff that comes with all that stuff when you're studying the Bible from taking the year. And then around that time, that's when I started having a prayer time with myself. I was doing a devotional, and my prayer time used to come where I would take walks around the neighborhood, and I would just be meditating, just thinking about life and things like that. And no, it wasn't that bad that I lost them.
So I'll be moving the screens around doing the whole show. So good.
All right, but
that's a hell of a testimony, brother. You're knocking a brother out the thing, man.
Yeah, then knock them out. Who's gonna moderate the meeting?
Like you said, you good. I'll be doing that throughout the whole show. So, okay, so check this. So Now, were most of you guys single before COVID?
I was.
Okay. Kendrick?
Say that again.
I said, were you single before COVID?
Oh yes, it still is. Still is.
Okay. And how about you, Brother Seth?
I want to clarify what does single mean? Does that mean not dating? Does that mean not married? Does that mean, what does that mean?
Okay, well, okay, for our purposes, single mean you were without woman.
Okay, without any significant person in your life.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. So was I without any significant woman in my life? Well, my mother's always been significant, but
I thought Jazz was a comedian.
But no, I didn't come into COVID in a relationship.
Okay, cool. So now let me ask you guys this. So before COVID, when it was still safe to be outside and everything, so now did you guys find yourself, so did you used to approach women, or did you wait till a woman approach you? I go with Kendrick on this one first.
Me, it just depends on the female. I mean, it depends on the woman, because I had women who come approach me, and I don't mind approaching a woman, but a woman have to show me that she's approachable. And these days in time, most, I'm not gonna guys come on being real. Most women is not approachable. They don't show themselves approachable. So if a man do want to approach them, they always got the frown up, or not only they got the frown up, they got about 20 girls around them. So I just think with me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters from that lady if she wants to be approachable.
All right, Jazz, what about you?
Before COVID hit, I was approaching. If I seen somebody I like, and just approach them, say, hey, what's going on? I guess if they still do that. Post-COVID, what we're in right now, it's just too much going on. You gotta go meet them, then you gotta put on a mask, go meet up with them, social distance with them at the restaurant. It's just too much going on in the culture right now that you got to go through to get a date. And then I might get offended if I don't get invited in with all the risk that we're taking now. So I said to myself, I'm just gonna sit this one out, because I don't want to get myself in COVID trouble when the situation is over with. But if something were to happen and God were to connect me with somebody and it's divine situation like that, then I'll go ahead and see what it do. But right now, I'm just trying to live through this COVID situation right now. Then when it's over with, I'll plan on, it's kind of like, it's going to be like sand at the beach. It's going to be crazy when this COVID is over with, when everything starts opening up, the world opens it up, and don't let nobody get a trip and go out of town. So then you might not be faithful if you go out of town to Florida for the first time. So you got to think about everything that's going on right now. But I got divorced, so that's what led me to being single during COVID. But God knew what He was doing with the situation, so I'm not gonna complain.
All right, Brother Seth, what about you?
My short answer: did I approach women before COVID? Yes.
And did they approach you also?
Well, in their own strategic way.
Oh, okay. So since we kind of talking about that, okay, so then how would you guys, if a woman was to approach you, how would you want a woman to approach you? Go ahead, Kendrick.
Why would you want a woman to approach you?
How would you want one to approach you? Because like I said, see,
I mean, it's just like you said, it's just like just come up and just introduce herself to me. I mean, I don't have no problems about the approach. See, I think that's where the big deal come in. Who approach who, he approach you or her approach you or whatever. However, it don't matter to me. I don't care because if you approach me, that means that you want me. That means that you've been watching me. So if you watching me and you approach me, then hey, then that's good for me. You know what I mean? Okay. So that means I don't have to worry about, you know, do you like me or do you see something that you like or whatever, however. So with me, I'm cool with that. I mean, it just show me that you are interested and I do the rest.
Right. And the reason I asked that, and let me say why I asked that, I should have did that first, because in today's society, like you said, you don't know how the woman was raised or how she think or what's going on in her mindset. So since you are single, so I'm asking you, how do you want a woman to approach you? Because if somebody's watching this and they say, well, hey, I do kind of like him, so how can I approach him? So that's why I asked it that way. So go ahead, Brother
exactly.
Seth. So Brother Seth, how can they approach you? What's the acceptable way to approach Brother Seth?
Well, I'm probably from the old school. I probably would not desire a woman approaching me. I would want to be the pursuer initially. And then after there is an understanding that we both have some interest in each other, then I think that she should have just as much pursuit at a particular stage in the game as I have.
Okay. And Kendrick? I mean, not Kendrick, my bad, Jazz? I
kind of like the preacher. Are you a preacher?
Brother Seth? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I can tell in your voice. I know they try to get at you at altar call. So I think you got to set some boundaries there. No, I'm kind of the same way. I usually, when I meet people, I usually go off the vibe and the spirit off of somebody. So if someone was like genuinely interested in me, if the vibe was right, I would go ahead and let her shoot a shot, because at the end of the day, it'll be up to me to dictate the terms of the relationship, because I can decide to pick up the phone, call her back or whatever. If she came at me like that, if the roles are reversed, you got to watch what you're saying with subjects like this now, because we're in a different kind of culture. I don't want nobody trying to cancel me for saying something wrong. But and then if I like her, then I'll go ahead and see if it's something that'll be interest in me. And then before we got to the next level in the relationship, as far as someone that I was interested in, wanted to marry and things like that, then I will go ahead and just take over from there. But someone she had me 682-222. I'm just playing.
So
because I think regardless, regardless, we gonna pursue it anyway. If we don't do it now, we're gonna pursue anyway, because we're gonna want to show that woman that we are that man. You know what I'm saying? That type of man that we are. So anyway it goes, we gonna pursue, we're gonna do the things we have to do. So that's why I just think it really doesn't matter to me at the same point, because at the end of the day, that we're gonna have to show that woman that we are that man for them.
I do believe that women today are more aggressive than they have been ever, because they want a man, and when they see a man, they are ready. They kind of like Little Caesars. They hot and ready. That's not a good
so
thing.
Funny you said it.
I'm not condoning that.
No, Pastor, you're right, Pastor.
I'm not condoning that.
Okay, so now I'm glad you said it like that. So with it being said like that, and now, how do you handle that? Because see, now if they're hot and ready, so you got to separate, do they want me for me, or do they want me because they need a husband and somebody to help with these kids? Anybody can start that.
Wow.
I'm sure that's deep, but I like saying that it's a shortage of the manly man around.
Man,
I got something that situation.
I will go into it, brother. Go into it, brother. Go into it.
But like on that, it's just something about I think they can smell the testosterone. We're like, you know what? He's kind of different. And I think Tom will tell if their representative is going to be around, because if you date somebody, you're going to get get to know them anyway. You'll be able to tell if someone's being genuine with you or if someone's just trying to trap you and in pursuit of having a husband. And then depends on how you relationships. That's why dating is so important. It's because it gives you a chance to get to know someone, and then you'll be able to see who's running game and who's not running game, and then you can weed them out a lot easily.
Yes.
Yes.
So nobody can take me as a husband unless if I want to be a husband, and that's just real talk. So if I want to be a husband, and if I flip the script like that, then you got a husband, and I'm not gonna go nowhere because I'm too old now to be going through the divorce and things like that. So I'm watching what I'm doing now because when I get someone, that's gonna be the last time. So I'm gonna watch what I get myself into, but no one got to trick me if I want to be a husband. I'm just gonna be a husband.
Okay, all right, Kendrick.
Man, the brother said mouthful. My spiritual brother said this to me. He said, "Stop looking for a girlfriend and start looking for a kingdom wife." He said, "Stop going looking for these girlfriends and find you a kingdom wife." And what I'm saying, what he mean to me is, stop entertaining people that you really don't want to be a part of. I ain't trying to be there. I'm at a point in my life, man. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to be with that particular woman. So I'm not here for the games. I'm not here for the of the bull crap. I'm not for all that. If you interested in me and I'm interested in you, let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's get it done. Cause I hear a lot of women out there. I ain't gonna say no name, but there's a lot of women out there saying that there ain't no good men out there. But I beg to differ. There's a lot of good men out here. It's just you're looking in the wrong place or you picking the wrong one.
Okay. All right. So now, when I was talking to the young ladies, they were like probably right there in their early to mid 30s. So they're saying a lot of things that's happening this day and age is that the guys are not really approaching them, but even right before COVID with this new age, it's called, I guess it's the sliding in the DMs. So is that a way that you guys communicate also or try to get a hold of somebody?
But that's been going on. It just depends on where you meet someone that's accessible. Honestly, because we're living in a different world now. If you're online and you see someone that's nice looking online that might shoot on your thread, or you might see something like that and you shoot up in their DM, all they can do is tell you I'm with somebody right now, or just say yes or no, and then from that point you can start the communication thread. It's all where you meet the person at. That same person, you can be at the grocery store and bump into them and have a conversation. So I don't really put limits on where I can meet somebody at. It's because you just gotta evolve with the times and where you're at. But I think that we're living in I'm from the old school where I think like the mid 30 on up, where we were just raised. If you seen a nice looking girl from the time you were in kindergarten, if you seen somebody nice, you went up to her or you sent her a little letter in class, will you be my girlfriend? Yes, no, maybe so. So it's just like the generation that we came through, we're just used to used to approaching, but now there's just different methods, which I believe just to make things easier, because you could be on Facebook and Instagram and meet someone that you might not have seen in person somewhere, but then you can get their phone number, get to talking, go on a date, and it might turn into something. Or vice versa, grocery store, church, work, just anywhere with women at. Just if you see somebody you like, just go after them. Just don't be scared. That's all I can say about that situation.
I agree. I think we have to be cognizant of how we approach. But I think the DM is very normal in the 21st century, 2021, 2020. But I think to add them and then to jump in their DM and you're all aggressive, I think that is the wrong approach. I think you may add them and then kind of like some stuff here and there and slowly build your case as you slowly kind of let them know, because you can come off creepy or weird or strange. Like, who is this creep? He's been stalking me. So I think you have to use wisdom in how you do it. But I think it is definitely a modern tool that many people are using to be able to connect and kind of get to know. But you have to be careful also, because sometimes you can assess them from their social media and it's not their actuality. They have a lot of filters, or they're not really living like they're portraying. And so there's a lot of misconceptions that can be oftentimes misconstrued by the observation we have with a woman that we see on social media. So I think it's very careful. It's a very careful algorithm that we have to be careful how we dance it. But I think it's nothing wrong with it. And I think I know for a fact that there are many great relationships that have come out of sliding in that DM, because they did it right. They didn't do it tacky. They didn't do it trashy. They did it with class and tact. And I think a true woman will embrace a true man if he slides in the DM with courtesy and respect.
And use complete sentences.
Yeah, and see, and that's what the women were saying the other day. They were saying, like we saying, because the new thing is the DMs, and like they said, you got people that's sending pictures that they don't have no business sending, and they don't want to see all that.
Oh, Lord.
And some of them say, I'd rather meet them that way, because then that way if I don't like them, I don't have to see them in person at all. And I said, all that said and good. And then I said, but then some of them said that, the person can write is behind the keyboard and just tearing it up with what they're saying. But then when they meet them in person, they can't even put a sentence together. So there's pros and cons in, I guess, both way of doing things. And out of the three that I was interviewing, two said that they would rather meet in person than do it online, because like I said, once you see somebody in person, you can hear them, you can see them, you can feel a vibe off of them or whatever, but you can't do that off the internet. So in asking that question, which way do you guys prefer to meet a woman, the old-fashioned way or DMs or whatever dating sites or whatever they have on the internet?
What's the real quick? What's the difference? Like, there's two things I want to point out real quick. Online, you got to be mindful on what you say, because if you're a public speaker or anything like that, you don't want to say anything that's improper, that's going to get screenshot, that can ruin you. So you definitely got to be like kind of political and HR-ish when you are in someone's inbox and DM talking to them. And then the second point I want to point out is like, what's the difference if you meet someone online than the difference of if like their homegirl gave you their phone number? Because I know a couple of you guys have probably been down that road before, where like your mama, Annie, or your homegirl might give your number to their homegirl, and you got to call the stranger that you don't know. So so it's kind of like it's the same to me. It's kind of like the same equivalent of you're still talking to a stranger, but you got to just be mindful. For me, it just depends on where I meet somebody at, the vibe. I think I kind of would prefer in person, but that's just me, because you're there in an atmosphere that that's kind of sociable. So that event already, you have something in common that you could talk about just from being somewhere in the event and exchange numbers that way and see where it goes. I would rather do the personal thing than the DM thing, because that's just easier for me.
All right, Kendrick, what about you?
I'm basically, I like the old-fashioned way. The DM to me, yeah, just like what the two guys, my brothers were saying, is doing that DM thing is very you got to be very careful about what you're doing there. You got to know what you're doing. You got to watch what you say and everything like that. And so, me, I rather do it the old school way. The DM thing that's social media. I think we letting social media really affect our relationships. Social media is just watering down our relationships and stuff like that, because making them, some of our brothers, lazy. So if you want to approach a certain type of woman, you're making them lazy not to pursue. And so that's why I say it'd be good that we to approach a woman, see what she say. I mean, that's how you really find out the vibe that if y'all really like each other and stuff like that. Because she might feel you and you might not feel her. So I mean, it'd be good to do it like that.
I'm not opposed to sliding in the DM. I don't think it's anything wrong with it. I think, however, the approach matters, And I do believe that you should not let much time pass before you actually physically meet up. I don't think you should let much time pass before you actually meet up. So I'm not against the DM part or the inbox part or however you want to say it. I think it's okay as long as you do it tastefully. And I think it's okay as long as you meet them in a reasonable time. I don't think you should just be stringing them along. And I think we should be intentional from day one about what it is that we're trying to pursue. I'm trying to get to know you. I want to see if we can build a friendship. Whatever your word choice is, I think it has to be very clear, and we got to come correct. If we don't come clear and correct, then we could lose a good potential woman that is right at our fingertips who was vibing us. But if we didn't come with clarity, because they want to know what's on your mind. What are you thinking? Are you wanting me? Or are you just trying to get some? Are you just what is your point? Why are you here? So I think we have to be very clear as to why we're here and what our desire and intentions are.
I agree 100%.
Okay. Now, one thing, we're gonna kind of take it back to church, and when you were going through church as a young person, because what interests me, what the women told me when I asked them about going through church as a young woman, and what surprised me was a thing that they were saying, because we were talking about, like you said, coming out of youth and getting into adolescence, that period right there, and they were saying to me that they felt that in the churches that they were groomed and taught to become wives, but not learning how to really love themselves and be a true woman of God first. So, so from because you always have a youth group where you do your little skits and your little plays, and then you jump up to either young adults, or some churches, depending on the size, don't even have that. Then you're just in with the adults. So when you guys were going through church growing up, how was your transition in church as far as, hey, we know what we are here as a youth, but then once we get to young adults and adults, how was that transition, and did it help you grow in your faith, or did it just kind of like leave you lingering out there? Go ahead, Jazz.
It was a lot of depression and self-discovery from that transition from going from child to young adult into full adulthood, because it was more of trying to find my place as far as church and ministry is concerned, and finding out exactly who I was. So finding out who I was as a person and going through like the adversity and things like that comes through life, and just growing as a person, it was a lot of dark moments and depression and things like that I dealt with coming up, suicidal thoughts, and just a lot of craziness that I was dealing with, because I think what it was for me is that I was living in religion instead of relationship. And what I mean by like religion is just like church culture, what society tells you that's supposed to be the norm, and not understanding that the relationship with God has to come from a direct relationship between me and him personal, that it doesn't come from thus says what my pastor said, or thus says what somebody else has said, that you can only carry their anointing for so long, but then it comes to a point where you have to study yourself, have your own relationship, and then at the end of the day, you have to find what your purpose is. And once you find your purpose, that's when God starts breathing new life into you. And I just got fortunate enough that as I was going through my self-discovery time, is that I started doing comedy. And the fortunate part for me is that most of my gigs started coming through the church. So I had a direct link. Didn't matter what it was that I was going through at the time. And I didn't been through a lot, but it was always something that kept me anchored in the church, because as long as I was doing comedy, that was my purpose, and it kept me connected to the church. And that was my anchor that kept me there. So I always had to stay in relationship. And the thing about, they always make a joke about Black people not needing therapy, is because we're taught victory all of our life. If you've ever been to church, you're taught victory. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're going through, you're always looking ahead, like, I'm gonna come out of this. What man do for a night? Joy coming to the morning. God's about to turn it around late into the midnight hour. But it's just in between those blessings, those valley moments, is where I believe that Satan try to get you, and it's real crucial when you're in your young adult, when you're in your young adult age, because when you're starting to come into your own intellect, that's when Satan wants to wipe you out before you even get a chance to start forming your own opinions about life and having that relationship. And if he can wipe you out the way and have you serving him, then that's what he's going to do. So it's crucial. It's that from that transition, it's just at the end of the day, I don't care if you grew up as a PK, you're going to have to get that relationship with God. And once you get it, he's going to strip you down to bare minimum, and you're going to have to get rebuilt through him.
Okay, well, all right there. Brother Seth, how was your transition in that stages?
I think the church taught us to not have sex.
Mm-hmm.
The church said, live holy, be righteous. I think fundamentally, there were some things that the church could have did better to prepare us for dating and then the relationship connectivity as it develops. Some things to steer away from, not just that don't have sex. I think we heard that only as a general rule in the Black church. Mm-hmm. That's why that's the main driving force. Don't have sex before marriage. And I think there were some narratives that could have been a little bit different. And that, I believe, is what most churches are becoming more aware now, that young adults and teens need to know more than just don't have sex. Mm-hmm. Have a relationship with God. So he will be the inside brace for the outside pressures of life that will stabilize you in the midst of whatever you're going through. And so if we teach it from a different angle, I think it will help stabilize a generation that really wants to pursue him first. Mm-hmm. And then everything else can be attached to the rooted and grounded truth of the word of God. Mm-hmm. And the solid foundation. And then these other branches that come from us as we are solidly rooted in him. And so I think as the church is progressing and moving forward, that we are doing a better job in helping this generation to know that you have to love God, because God is the essence of love. And if they don't love God, they can't love you. Because mm-hmm. if the foundation and the essence of love, then they have to love God. And so if they don't love God, they never love you. So mm-hmm. I think these are the basic principles we have to instill in this generation. And when I say this generation, I'm talking about these teens that are coming up, and they cannot just raise themselves. Parents cannot just allow them to raise themselves and make their own choices and do what they want to do. But we have to go back to some basic principles. And the church, for crying out loud, we are not to raise children. We should only be vitamins and supplements to what you're doing at home. You are to be the full course meal as mom and dad. The church is just to add some vitamins and some other nutrition as you are along the journey. We partner with you as you are doing the real work day after day after day. We're just connecting with you. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm kind of all over the place giving scattered remarks, but I'm just trying to give a full picture as to what I believe the church can do, did do, and how we should continue moving that forward to make sure we're growing and budding healthier and more seasoned and solid foundational relationships, so that the church will be the model for the world, that you can live righteous, you can have a good house, you can have a wonderful husband or wife, you can have a good marriage and a good home, and still live righteous and holy.
I got you. So how was your transition? I know earlier in the conversation, you said you didn't get saved till later on in life, but you was going to church. So, but how was that transition for you, Kedrick, in just going to church and then becoming saved? How do you think the church could have helped you in the process?
Oh, like I was going to say, I've listened to it was great the brothers were saying, but mine was a whole different route. I went to church with my grandmama, but when I turned 12, you know what I'm saying, this is where another thing need to come in there in the church. We need a lot of leaders. We need a lot of father figures for the young men of the day too, because a lot of the young brothers don't have a father. I mean, we could say what we want to say, but our young brothers don't have no male figure in their life, and only male figures in their life. Just what happened to me was gangs. See, I was out there hustling. When I turned 12 years old, from 12 into my 20s, I was a hustler. I went out there to sell drugs. I did all the things under the sun. Well, the reason why I did that, because I ain't know who I was. I thought that's what it was. When you around pimp hustlers, prostitutes, and all your life, that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? I came from an environment that what it was about. That was about. If you were a hustler, you was out. So I did both of them. But I did more attracted to the thug life and all that, because these people here showed me that worldly love. And I ain't have no brothers out there to come here and put their arms around me and say, brother, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. And so that's what happened to me through all my teens, all the way through into my 20 years, and like by 24, 25, when the Lord blessed me with a brother named Brother Durrell Robinson in my life. So that's why I say is that a man need another man. Because if you go to the Bible, King David always had Nathan or a prophet at all times to make him accountable. And when you can make yourself accountable, you get a brother who can make yourself accountable and make you say, hey man, you know you're wrong there. Come on, brother, come on, pull you back in. See, I think every man needs somebody to talk to. A man that they can, who they can talk to, who they can vent to, because that's what's going on with most of our young cats. Our young brothers don't have nobody they can talk to. They don't have nobody who can reach out to them. They don't have nobody who can sit up and say, man, thus said the Lord. Man, I'm a born again Christian, love God, but I can go and talk to a brother from the street corner too. I can sit there and talk his language, and then we can talk about God. Reason why these brothers they want love, man, but ain't nobody out there want to show them no love, because they looking at their brother because he got a gun in his hand and or he got dope in his hand or in his pocket. Man, we need to go out. We have to reach out to these brothers. That's why I think what's going on with this generation here, or the last, or the part of the generation behind, there's no father figures around. Ain't nobody who gonna pull you to the side and say, hey man, you ain't got to do that. And I mean, I'm a living witness, man. My brother Darrell Robinson, man, been knowing that brother 20-something years. He ain't showing me nothing but love. He gave me nothing but love for 20-something years, and to this day, he's still giving me that love. When I do wrong, he still loves me. When I do right, he loves me. He celebrate me for the good things, and it's so good about my brother is he never criticized me for what I do wrong. He just tried to say, no, brother, you know what? Yeah, you did it. Yeah, but watch this over here though. Let's do this over here. And so I think, as I want to say it, I don't want to talk no more, but I think in this generation, we need more men to step up and go and pull somebody to the side and say, hey, man, hey, you can do this, man. You ain't got to do that. I'm going to show you another way.
All right. Well, that kind of brings me to my next question, because it's going to kind of fit in with that. So now when I was talking to the women, and they were saying, because most of them were cute. So I was saying, okay, I can tell y'all all cute. So I know when you were in the church, how many, whether it was pastors, deacons, elders, or whatever, they were either married or had somebody, but then was still trying to hit on you. Basically, all of them raised their hand. You see what I'm saying? So stuff like that happening to women and kind of making them somewhat second-class citizens in the church, that's what runs them out. So what do you feel that will run men away from staying in the church? Jazz?
My granddaddy.
Go ahead.
My granddaddy used to have a saying. My granddaddy was a pastor out of Ohio, and he used to have a saying to keep me in church. He said, "Never be surprised by what niggas do." And what I mean by that is he didn't put no color on that. And what he meant by that, he said, you're gonna see some things, and don't allow somebody else's action to destroy your walk, because man is not perfect. So if you allow somebody else's action to destroy you, then you already lost your battle. So you have to be able to be resilient and look past some of the stuff that you see and realize at the end of the day that it's going to be you and your maker standing in the line trying to get to the gate. So I'm at a level now where I'm just not surprised by what I see anymore, because you've seen stuff from behind, but then you don't hear anybody complain about if something went out of order at work. You don't hear people quitting their job because they're focused on the paycheck and they let stuff roll off like water and things like that. And the way that I see it is that it's a church on every corner. So if someone upsets you that much that you can't take it there, but there's no need to destroy your relationship if it's another church on another corner. It's just going to have to be that we're going to have to stop looking at people like as godlike figures and come off the milk and realize that if you live through COVID and live through all the stuff that's going on in the world now, that you're going to have to become an adult in your relationship with God. And at the end of the day, you need to just be focused about, I need to go ahead and meet my maker and be good with God, because the people that are in church that's like showing out, God's gonna deal with them. Let God deal with them, and they'll have their come to Jesus moment, their Damascus Road experience, that God's end up weeding them out, or they're gonna die early, or something like that that's gonna happen. But you just have to get to a level in your faith where you just can't be surprised by what people do anymore. The other day I read in the news, American Airlines had to divert their flight pattern because they thought that they seen the UFO. So it's just so crazy, the stuff that's going on in the world. So don't let nobody, just because they come up to you and things like that, people gonna be trifling. So if you come to church that night looking good that Sunday and somebody compliments you, and I'm sure that you gentlemen get it all the time, like, yeah, baby, I know I look good. That's why I put this suit on. My girl said it looked nice. I don't need you to validate here. I'm here for church. And you got to just set the tone like you would categorize relationships, like you would as business. When I'm at church, it's business. Now, if I cause you to lust, that's between you and God. You just need to repent. But I'm not going to stop being me. I'm just being me. But,
go ahead, brother Seth, what you think?
We can't be surprised by what people do anymore.
He made some good points, and I do believe that the church, and this is a good time for me to say this, I am so thankful and grateful that God has called me into the pastorage, and we are walking into that season right now. Our first interest meeting is next Tuesday, and I know that God is sending strong men that will be men of integrity, that will be men of standard, that will be able to help young boys, pull them to the side, and that will be a different standard that the church has not seen, that when women come, they feel safe, they feel secure, they feel loved. They don't have to worry about a man or a deacon or someone hitting on them or being inappropriate because of the culture that we will have. We will have godly men. I'll say it again, godly men. That church is called Faith Community Church Arlington. Faith Community Church in Arlington. You can look us up on Facebook and Instagram. My name is Seth Cunningham. I want you to follow us because I know that God is raising up a church in the midst of all this craziness that's going on to be an authentic, true example of what the church is supposed to be, so that the world may come running to know that they too can be different. They too can embrace this genuine love that we can only get from our Father God. So I do agree and believe that we have to change the narrative. We have to change the perspective of what the world views the church and how church goers view the church. And so we have a lot of restoration and restoring to happen, because I know and believe that we must do a more tangible job, and we've got to be more intentional in how we present this to the world and to those church persons who come. Because to your point, there's a lot of chaos in this world. And until the body of Christ, until pastors, until bishops, until leaders bring Jesus the Christ back to the main attraction, back to the main focus, and not allow anything else to be a deterrent or a derailed place, that's when we will see the church restored into its rightful posture, into its rightful place. And I know and I believe that God has called you and me together for such a time as this, that we may be a part of the greatest change that our world has ever seen, without a doubt. So we got to get busy. Come on and do this.
I agree. People just stop showing out. Do exactly what Pastor said. Stop showing out. because we're getting ready to go into a new season, and you need to take exactly what he's saying and just change the culture now, because some of that fault's gonna come back on our own, and we just need to see a change and bring that culture back. I agree 100%.
Right. And see, and like,
Can I say a little bit? I just want to say a little bit. I think, to be honest and being real with y'all, brother, I think it's already been going on. It's been going on from the back, behind the side of the mountain. I just believe that now God is bringing a lot of men to the forefront now. It just down to the point is that I think it's just been a great shaking of the COVID and all this stuff, all this great shaking going on. Now God is bringing up most men up now, the most accountable men, the man whose hard character, got the character and integrity to stand up like now. Because you know why? Because I'm one of them. I know God is bringing me to the forefront to talk to my brother, to let brothers know you got to get back in your rightful place. Because we need to get, let these sisters see that we are kings. Because, and that's what the problem is. Most of these brothers lost their identity, and they need to get their identity back. And when you go find it, when they get their identity back, they'll know who they are. And then they'll know that God is going to always be first. And that's why I believe that it's already going on right now. I believe that God now is bringing everything to the forefront and letting people know that the kingdom men are here, and we are here to take it over. And we're not just here to show the church, and we're not here to talk to the women. We're talking about we're going to take the world over. Oh, yeah, brother, we're going to take the whole world over. The kingdom men are here. The kingdom men are here because I see 4 of them on this thing now. So it's here. We just taking it over, just slowly by slowly, because when David grew great, Saul had to grow less. So I believe that David is coming up now, man. It's the Davids now, baby. We coming here, we gonna take this thing over. Yes. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good. Hey, I was in a church. I was in a church in Houston a couple weeks ago. I had a gig at this church, and they were doing baptisms. And I watched a guy get baptized, and he walked out of the baptism with a ring and walked over to his girl and proposed. Yes, everybody in the church was all excited.
Yes, sir.
But the thing about it, though, is that the pastor gave a statistic. He said when the mother at the house goes to church, I think he said 30% of the people in the house go to church. But when the man decides in his mind to make up that he wants to go to church, 98% of the people in the house goes to church with him, because that's the type of anointing that a godly man has, where he has that sensation about something that's about him in that glow, that people are like, what's going on with him, that they want to go to church, and everybody in the whole household raised up to go. And I watched this guy walk out the baptism pool. I wouldn't got baptized right now because of COVID, but he walked out the baptism pool and got engaged to his girl, and a set a standard to everybody in that church that we're going out and going to get queens, we're going out and going to get wives, and we're about the kingdom business instead of just going out and messing up and messing around with people. Because right now we can't play anymore, especially if you live past 2020. Your mindset shouldn't be on meeting someone to play games. It should be on meeting someone that's going to be an asset to you, someone that you can incorporate into your life, into your purpose, so that you two can make kingdom moves together.
Yes.
So I'm going, 5:58, so I'm going to go eat, 5:58, 58 minutes. So I'm going to try to bring some stuff all the way back around to where we are now. So like I said, when I was asking about keeping men in the church and all that good stuff, men, just like, I was in the military. And if you're in the military, I don't care how tough and how bad your drill sergeant think he is, if you don't trust his leadership or trust that person is for real and is not a liar, they can huff and puff all day long, you're not going to follow them. The first thing you're going to do is, if you're in a situation, they're going to be the first one to get shot. So as far as men and young boys go, we in ministry, like you said, as men, we need to show these young men leadership and need to show them that we can be respected, because we're not going to lie to them and we're not going to play around with them. And one of the reasons that I got away from the church even as older, because when I was younger, I would see things that like, well, that don't seem like God would be into that, because it was so legalistic. Even at a young age, I can say that don't look like love. That don't look like a loving God would do that. Then as I got older, I saw how pastors and elders was playing games, whether it was with the money with the women or trying to show that they were anointed and wasn't anointed. I had a brother on a New Year's Eve thing try to, squeeze my temple and push me down like he was so anointed I was supposed to fall. I seen people play games where I was all up front with the rest of them for prayer. And when the guy got through praying and I opened my eyes, everybody was laid out but me. We played too many games. And the pastor is not, if he let these go on, then he's going to lose somebody's respect and know that this is a game and you don't let your church play games with people's lives. This is life. You see what I'm saying? And so, yes. Like I said, with Love Strength Ministry, like I said, 1 John 4:8, he that loveth not, knoweth not God, for God is love. If you go 1 Corinthians 13, I call that love walk, verses 4-8. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious, all the way down to where it says love never fails. That's the thing that you have to get in your spirit. That's love, God. That's what you have to get, God in your spirit, that love walk in your spirit. So first it changes you and get rid of everything that's not of God. You get rid of that. Now you're walking in God. Now your family walks in God. Now your children walks in God. Everything that you touch starts walking in the favor of God because now you are walking in God. And that's what starts changing things. That's what we have to do. Start showing more of 1 Corinthians 13 and that 1 John 4:8 and be loved like God is loved to everybody. Whether they say they're saved or unsaved, if we're going to be God to everybody, we have to show everybody love. I don't care if you're the atheist, the bisexual, homosexual, lesbian, whatever it is or whoever it is, show them God, aka love, because that was what they would never forget. And that's what changes things. A prayer falls under love. So if you don't love, then your prayer ain't even effective. So it can't change nothing. Love is the thing that changes anything. And like I tell everybody, this is the love book, the God book. So any ministry or word that comes from that book has to be love and positivity. So if you ever hear a sermon or something and it is not positive or you don't feel love from it, then that's not of God because God is love. So hey, I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there real quick. You brothers got anything you say before we get up out of here? Anybody?
Yes, I want to say that first of all, I love everything what's going on. I thank for y'all brothers. Thank you for being accountable and integrity for not just for everybody, but for y'all family, for y'all friends and everybody. I just want to thank you for that. I just want to say, check me out on UA Network. I got a program. Me and Daryl Robinson got a program called Speak the Word. We all about speaking the word of God. We all about having the character and integrity. Just like the pastor said, we stand on it, having the character and integrity about speaking the word of God, loving God, and loving God to the fullest. And if you don't have God, you can't do nothing. It is no sense. Don't even live life when you don't have God. You can check us out on UA Network. UA Network. Speak the word. It's me and my brother named Brother Daryl. You'll see me one week on there. Another week you'll see him on there. Sometimes you will see them both, and we'll have guests. But I just wanted to check that out. Thank you.
All right, then go ahead there, Jazz.
All right. Once again, it was a pleasure being on the show. Nice meeting you gentlemen here. Anybody can follow me, Jasmine, Jazzmen, last name Tate, Tate, and that's on all social media platforms. Also wanted to extend an opportunity if anybody's going to be in the Dallas area on March 21st. We're going to be doing a Christian Laugh Love comedy show that's going to be at the Art Center in downtown Dallas, and it's going to be me, Shed G, Stacey Holloway, and some other comedians. And just the way that laughter is good medicine. We're living in a world that's hurting right now. So if you need that good prescription, douse them with some love in both areas. Come on out and check us out, and I'll have more information on the on my social media pages if you want to check that out and spread the word. And again, thanks so much for allowing me to be on your platform with you this evening.
All right, Brother Seth.
Thank you so much for having me on tonight. What a joy it has been to hear from these wonderful brothers and yourself. I am thankful to know there are other men who are desiring to live a righteous life, that we can help be part of a great change to our world. I am Pastor Seth. We've just recently made our announcement about 5 weeks ago that we are planting a church in the Arlington Grand Prairie area after 20 plus years in ministry. And God has graced us, and our church is supporting us, and many others are supporting us. And if you don't have a church home and you want to start from the ground up with us as we will continue to impact the kingdom for the glory of God, we are very interested to know you, that you will come and hear our heart for ministry, not just church. Not just church, but for ministry and for kingdom impact. The name of the church is Faith Community Church. Faith Community Church is in Arlington, Texas right now. Is where we're going to be meeting. We'll be having our first interest meeting this coming Tuesday. You can text us at 817-681-9426, 817-681-9426. And we would love for you to come and hear our heart as we were going to unpack the vision and the timeline as we will unfold what God has given us. And I'm excited to know that God has a generation and a remnant that's left to be able to bring about so much impact and so much authentic change that the world may see that there is a true and living God, and he's able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory. I'll say this last thing.
Come on, here.
Men and women, do not be so addicted to any person that you abort your assignment. Know the
Come on here.
addiction and your assignment. Sometimes our conveniences are just addiction, but they're not our assignment. So you have to know the difference who God has assigned you to. She may not look like you want her to look. He may not look like you want him to look.
Come on,
I'd rather be my assignment
come on, bro.
than my addiction, because
Come
my
on, bro.
addiction can run out. But my assignment is
Yes, sir.
purposeful and kingdom. And so therefore,
Yes, sir.
sir, confusing the two. Addiction,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
assignment. And know your purpose.
Yes, sir.
As you know your purpose, he will give you clear focus, and you'll function in the favor and the faith that he's called you to. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Man,
That's beautiful.
amen.
Okay, you know what happens when you do that?
About to
You
make
know, not addiction. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't start. No, won't be nothing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's where the problem come in.
I'm a dance. I'm about
That's
to
the problem when it come in there.
You said
We stop
something
looking at
there.
the Coke bottles. Bro, we need to stop looking at the Coke bottles.
If you know good men who are wanting to help us plant and be a part of the undergirding and get in there and help us do it, let's do this for the glory of God, not about me, but about
Yes,
him.
sir.
Thank you, my brother,
Yes,
for
sir.
having me on the show.
All right. You brothers
Praise
hang on
God.
tight. Let me close out the show and I'll be right back with you. Don't go nowhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me stop hiding myself. Get Jazz out the way. Jazz, hold on, Jazz. Where you go? Oh, there you go. Get on out the way, Jazz. All right, there we go. So, sisters, I hope you enjoyed this single men session of Love Saints Ministries Love Sessions. So we will take you out next time. And remember what I always say: constantly and consistently walk in love. And why do you do that? Because you might be the only love that anybody ever receives, even in their whole entire life. So until next time, you guys walk in love, stay